stock, which we understand some large fund guys are actually accumulating. The stock is actually saw some kind of a cut coming in, but positional buy is still being recommended by institutional guys. There is a buzz on the street that in the next 1 week or 10 days max, there could be some big positive announcement, and the stock could actually surge quite sharply on the back of that, and some positions are being taken ahead of that in anticipation. They go on to say that you can even take position over the weekend, holding on to the position. So watch out for JSW in the short run. It can actually jump quite significantly. Also, recently NMDC cut the iron ore prices. It has actually boded well for the stock. So on a net basis, the stock is in a good position right now. Apart from that, Indraprastha Gas, so that is one stock. Again, some positional buying happening over there ahead of the results. The results are still about 15-16 days away, but expectations are that results will be very strong from IGL, and hence positions are being taken ahead of that also by dealers.
Okay, thanks very much, Gargi and Ajay, for giving us that 360-degree view on the markets. Prakash, wanted to just get you in on that interesting stock that Gargi was referring to, Tilaknagar Industries. What's the chart looking like?
When I'm looking at the weekly time frame, it looks a beautiful chart. The way it's come out from these levels closer to 40. Strong support zones around these loans. It's actually given a buy closer to these levels of 50. If someone was observing this stock, would have perhaps bought it there. And I would say that it's very critically poised now, but so far looks up. A fresh buy signal has emerged on a higher time frame, which should propel the stock to somewhere closer to around 75. But that will take its own sweet time. It's closer to around 62 now. So a good 15 rupees move is possible from here, but it will take its own sweet time.
Okay, let's then cut across to Dr. Rangarajan, who is talking about the 2.7% IIP growth for August.
The whole question is that the consumers should benefit from increased production and increased productivity. And we are saying that instead of quantitative impositions on exports, we move towards a system of levying an export duty and a modest export duty. Therefore, if the export prices are very advantageous, then only to the extent to which the tariffs permit them, they will export.
So you're also saying to remove levy, the concept of levy. So how do you think that, what will happen to PDS sales, and how will states ensure that there is stability of prices?
No, there is no question about stabilizing the price of sugar everywhere. Yes, PDS will continue, and the state governments are being given the subsidy. Therefore, the state governments will use the subsidy that has been given to reduce the price of sugar from the open market price.
Sir, also you're talking about implementing this. How soon do you see it, and do you see it in a phased manner?
Well, there are some decisions which have to be taken by the Government of India, some by the state governments. But there are many stakeholders in this, and therefore the government will have to consult all the stakeholders before taking a decision.
So did you speak to the states because you're talking of taking off SAP completely? So yeah,
we have talked to the chief ministers of Karnataka, Maharashtra, and UP.
So no problem there.
I just have two questions.
Okay, that is Suchetna Ray in conversation then with Dr. C. Rangarajan. Remember, you had a major relief rally coming about in all of the sugar stocks on account of the Rangarajan panel recommending drastic reform measures in the sector, freeing the mills from the clutches of the state-administered price, and at the same time advising that revenue-sharing mechanism that puts 70% of all the profit in the hands of the cane farmer. All of the counters holding up very smartly in today's session. Time to take a quick break right here on Market Sense, but coming up, cement stock surge in trade after CLSA upgrades the sector for the first time in 3 years. The brokerage expects better utilization and better pricing power for the producers.
This show brought to you by Axis Bank, Badti Ka Naam Zindagi, Birla Sun Life Insurance, Wealth with Protection Solutions, Colgate Total, whiter teeth in 2 weeks and a healthier mouth.
ये क्या है? हम तीनों का कॉमन फोन बिल है, वो रिलायंस का नया। हाँ, पर इसमें मेरा नाम क्यों नहीं है?
ये प्लान फैमिली के लिए। तेरा नाम इसमें इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि तू इस फैमिली का हिस्सा नहीं है गुड्डू। तू माँ को मंदिर की सीढ़ियों पे मिला था।
Go to hell. All share postpaid plan from Reliance. Talk, text and data now shareable by up to 10 people on a single bill. Share more, save more. It's simply better.
Reliance. The world around you is turning smart. Create your own smart wireless world with Digisolve.
Smart me. Smart Digisolve.
A product of SmartLink.
Mom taught me to believe in myself. She pushed me to study and to succeed. She fought each day for me. And now, I'm ready to battle the world for her. Buying a house for her was my way of saying, Ma, your sweat was not wasted. Exerbia. Buying a house matters.
चैंपियन होने के लिए होना चाहिए फाइटर, होना चाहिए पावरफुल।
लेकिन ये सब तभी हो सकता है जब आप रहेंगे फिट। फैट या कोलेस्टेरॉल कभी आप पर हावी नहीं हो सकते।
ओइलान पोटो पोटैटो फ्लेक्स जो शुद्ध आलू से फैट और कार्बोहाइड्रेट को निकालकर आपके आहार को बनाता है स्वादिष्ट और स्वास्थ्यकर।
Innovation. What it isn't is something that happens step by predictable step. It doesn't always stop at the lights. Sometimes it goes backwards to go forwards. It goes up blind alleys. It zigs and it zags. It wiggles and then it lets rip. Your job is simple. Just give it the right environment.
Why do I trust BMA Wealth Creators? Simple. Superior research, superior networking, superior service. Really simple.
Everyone has a dream. Ours is to make yours happen. Helping people realize their dreams with nearly 10 lakh loans. Magma, investing in the smallest dream.
It's like love. Cleanse your soul. Feel it in your veins. Breathe it in your lungs, you'll stay. It's like love. Cleanse your soul. Breathe it in your lungs, you'll stay. It's like love. For the first time, it'll all make sense.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Sense. Now, cement stocks, they've actually surged in trades today after brokerage house CLSA upgraded the sector for the first time in 3 years. CLSA expects better utilization and better pricing power for cement producers. But let's get more details. Take it across to Navneet Saluja, who joins us from the research desk. Navneet.
That's right, George. CLSA has upgraded the sector after being bearish on it for the last 3 years. Well, but the cement stocks have been doing quite well in the past few trading sessions as well. If you look at the reasons why CLSA has upgraded the sector, first being they expect the capacity utilization going forward to improve. Remember, in the last 3 years, the capacity utilization levels of the company that was declining, so they expect that to improve, which will boost the profitability and the pricing power going forward. Also, going forward, they expect the demand to improve, and also the moderating capacity utilization levels will also pitch in there. if you look at the reforms which have been announced, the analysts on the street, they're quite positive on cement sector, because if you look at reforms like FTI and retail, now when that gets implemented, your construction activity will increase, which will actually be beneficial for the cement sector. So that's the reason, in fact, most of the analysts on the street have also turned kind of bullish on this particular sector. So based on that, CLSA, they have said the sector profitability, they expect that to rise from their historical highs. That will be in FY15. That's when they expect the profitability to be at all-time high. Also, they've upgraded the EPS of the companies which is under their coverage by around 15 to 30%. And if you look at their calls, they've given buy call on Shree Cement, Ultratech and ACC. If you look at these counters, they are doing quite well in today's trading session. Ultratech has hit a new 52-week high today, and they have given outperform call on Grasim, Ambuja, India Cements. In fact, if you look at counters like India Cement, that's up by about over 4% in today's trading session. But they've highlighted some of the key risks also in their report, which is weaker than expected demand and also government intervention, like we did see CCI levying penalty on cement companies. So if all that continues going forward, that can be kind of a threat going forward, and also on the increased market share going forward. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Navneet, for giving us that CLSA take on the cement counters. Let's get in Avinnash Gorakssakar, founder and director at moneyinvestments.in, to talk about some key sectors that you should be investing in. Avinnash, to start off with, let's focus in on the cement sector. I'm going to dwell upon some of the concerns that the CLSA report throws on: the weaker than expected demand, government intervention in the sector, as well as increased competition. How do you see this playing out for some of the cement stocks?
No, I think, these concerns were there earlier in the Q1 also. Obviously, from the government side, infrastructure projects are going slow. So obviously there is a concern that volume intake, especially from large infrastructure projects, would take some time. But if you see the profitability of most of the cement companies in Q1, I think despite, these headwinds, the profitability of almost every cement company has actually improved quite well. In fact, going forward also, producers have actually learnt a lot. They've actually had a good pricing discipline. At the same time, they managed to ensure that supplies are not exceeding demand. So to that extent, even the market is clearly, seeing that cement prices both across West and East are firm. So I would say that, despite these headwinds, I think for the coming quarter, Q2, as well as for the coming 2 quarters, cement stocks would definitely, would continue to outperform, because this has been a sector where, GDP growth has been down, IIP growth numbers are down, and despite that, volume growth has been reasonably good. Pricing power is there. So I think within the pack, I think from South, something like a Madras Cement, and, from the West, ACC and Ambuja, I think probably you'll see, very good numbers in the current Q2 numbers.
Avinnash, what's the view on Infosys? Because now the view is that the company is suffering from a business ramp-up issue. There's trouble on retaining its employees, and that's going to make the company find it very difficult to really come out of the woods. Do you believe that from a long-term perspective, TCS and HCL Tech are better off as investment opportunities?
Yeah, I think so, because, I think as everyone is aware, Mphasis gets a large fraction of its revenue from HP, and the parent has actually clearly given an earnings warning that coming forward it's going to be underperforming. So clearly, I think if you look at TCS and you look at HCL Technologies, my bias would be on HCL Technologies. The company has performed exceedingly well in the Q1. And probably, even in this quarter, my expectation is that both on the margins and top line front, if you look at it relative from Infosys, which declared numbers today, my sense is this could be a good outperformer within the IT pack.
All right, so, and Avinnash, just away from the IT pack and looking at banks, we've got HDFC Bank, which will put out its numbers in a few hours from now, and also Axis on Monday. What are you expecting over there?
My guess is HDFC Bank also would maintain the kind of traction we have seen, from one of the private sector banks, IndusInd Bank, which reported a 30% growth in profits. Valuations are slightly pricey for HDFC Bank, but I think in this kind of market, George, it pays to be, with the leader, and clearly with the kind of track record HDFC Bank enjoys. My sense is probably if one wants to buy, one should buy it on dips, but clearly numbers should be pretty robust. As far as Axis Bank also is concerned, my guess is numbers would be online. I think clearly the market would also be looking at the fact that the kind of exposure it has on the power sector. I think clearly that is why Axis is slightly weak. But definitely HDFC Bank, I think, on any decline, it's a good portfolio choice.
And any sugar stocks that you would buy into on the back of those recommendations that came out today?
See, I think today's recommendations given by RBI are clearly a positive for the sector. But mind you, this is a state-related issue, and how far these recommendations would actually be implemented is a question mark. But within the sugar pack, I think Balrampur Chini definitely looks good. I think even without this policy reform taking place, I would say even from an earnings perspective, Balrampur Chini can give good upside return in the next, say, 3 to 6 months.
Thanks very much, Avinnash, for dropping by and giving us that fundamental view on the markets. It's now below 5,700 once again, 5,690 on the index, 0.3% shaved off from the Sensex as well at 18,731. Sandeep, turning out to be a very volatile day. Are there any other candidates that you would be recommending?
Well, I believe the bias is on the upside, as I mentioned, and the trend is up. So I would like to go long. We had talked of Aurobindo Pharma yesterday, and currently it is almost at the high of the day, and I have a long-term